In February of last year, 2006, we got a new premises in Mullinahone in County Tipperary. Because my husband and I were so old, in our mid-40s, we could only get a mortgage for 250,000. So we ended up moving to the outskirts of Kilkenny, on the Kilkenny-Tip border. And we built the 36 kennels there at the moment, and our capacity is supposed to be 72 dogs, but of course that never happens. I mean, I've taken 7 out of the dog pound in Dublin in the last 2 days. You've met a few of them today here yourself. At the moment, the biggest problem we're finding in Tipperary is trying to get homes for the dogs, because our main criteria are that you must have a fully enclosed garden. That's number 1 rule. That's the most important thing. The second thing is that there's no small children in the house, because they're all adult dogs and we don't know what way they react to a small child. So no children under 7, simply because if they were puppies it'd be different. But the fact that they're all adult dogs, you know, your child is more important than the dog, so we don't want to take that risk. That there's somebody at home part of the day, because the dog that's left on its own all day gets very bored and very destructive. And one of the main reasons that people rehome dogs through us is because they're going back to work and the dog will be on its own all day, so people do understand that. But where we're living at the moment, there's very few fenced-in gardens. When we were in Kildare for 9 years, and 90% of our homes were based in Dublin, and they were all suburban housing estates with walled-in gardens, and it was super. We used to home about 8 or 10 dogs a week, but now since we moved down to Tipperary, I would say we homed about 15 last year into homes. We had about 500 or 600 pass through our doors, but most of them went abroad in the end, because that's just the way it is. Thank God we have the outlets for the UK, for the rescues in the UK. We deal with Dogs Trust and we deal with the Blue Cross, and we would bring over, say, 10, 12 dogs at a time on the ferry, and we would, you know, just hand them over to them. They would be neutered and all that before they leave, and then they would have to find homes for them. Then they'd ring us a few weeks later and say we can take another 10, and that's the way we're getting them out mainly at the moment.
They got 6 years ago in PAWS and in Salons in Kildare.
And what kind of shape was she in?
Oh, she was in good shape. They look after her well. She was in very good shape. I met Gina Hetherington the first time I was a taxi driver, and met Gina up in TV3. We spoke about it then. So Angela and myself, the wife, paid a visit to TV3. And not TV3, to PAWS. That's where we got a chance.
We have 3 full-time staff and we have 3 part-time staff at the weekend, and of course they all have to be paid. You can't get volunteers in animal rescue because people come, they think it's a glamorous project, and they see the RSPCA on TV and, you know, Rolf Harris and all this, and think, oh, I'd love to do that. But if you walk into a kennel and it's wall-to-wall diarrhea, and you've got to go and clean it, you don't fancy going and doing it the next weekend you have off. So I mean, you can't depend on volunteers, so you have to have paid staff, and that is one of our biggest expenses. There's nearly 2,000 a week going out on staff wages before we feed a dog, before we go to a vet, before anything else happens. I haven't been paid myself since last February, so that's how tight it is at the moment, and we're now in June, so I mean, you know, that's the way it works. But it's never a thing you're ever going to make a living at. You're never going to make money at it. I mean, the staff are on minimum wage, like they're not making big money or anything on it. And it's dirty, hard work. But at the end of it, when you see them, when you come to something like this, and you see them all coming back with their mommies and daddies, and they look like totally different dogs. Half of them I don't recognise, because when they left they had this dull coat and dull eyes, and when they've been in a home, like there was a King Charles there, that's we rehomed last week, and the people came down from Kildare and they adopted him in Tipperary, and he looks like a different dog already, you know. He's just a shiny, happy, glowing dog, whereas, you know, that's what makes it worth your while to do it. They can get us at paws.ie, which is our website. They can ring us in Mullinahone, which is 052 53507, or they can drop us a line there. The website has a lot of information. It has a donations online section, or there's a sponsor a dog section where people can sponsor a dog by the month. It doesn't have to be a particular dog. You can sponsor a kennel, so whatever dog is in that kennel at the time, that's the dog that you're sponsoring. So if it's homed, then you sponsor the next one. When I say, by the way, people often, when I say Tipperary, they think it's miles away, like a long, long way to Tipperary, but we're actually only 25 minutes from Kilkenny City. We're right on the borders of Kilkenny, Tipperary, so it's only 2 hours from Dublin. I mean, as my husband says to people, make a day of it. Go and have your lunch in Kilkenny Design Centre, have a look at the castle, then pop out to PAWS and bring some dogs for a walk, and maybe go home that evening or stay overnight in a B&B. make a weekend of it, you know. And I mean, we really do want people to come and visit us, because it's just because we've moved out of the Pale doesn't mean that we're not still doing the business. We are still taking in the dogs, and we're still taking them from Dublin. So please come and visit us and bring a doggy home.